Oh man.
That's the thing about your show is nobody really knows when it's starting.
Well, it started now.
Are we on the air right now?
Yeah, no, we're live.
Oh my
Good
God, I'm
deal.
so nervous. Yeah. Well, that's cool,
All right.
man. Armhub, here I am.
Yeah, I guess let's jump right in. I think
That's a
Gobby
good name, by the way.
you like it, right? Doesn't it draw you in? You feel like you're going to get a little bit more than what you're actually
The
getting?
perfect name. Everybody's hooked on the other hub, so why not jump into to Armhub, right? Easy
Yeah,
crossover.
you want to do some photos for us?
Yeah, like a helicopter scene or something?
No, kind of like the other hub.
Oh, like that kind of thing?
Yeah, that kind of
Okay.
stuff. We're trying to
I'm
get it
huge.
diversified.
I'm fucking massive.
That's
Yeah,
where the real
don't
views
forget it.
are. Farm photos.
Yeah. So the three most unpurchased guys in the business. You got the guy who wouldn't jump in with pound for pound. You got the guy who wouldn't jump in with WAL. And fucking Gobby's pissed every single arm wrestler and league off in the whole world. So, yeah, you guys are like the unpurchased three. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, no editing, right?
No.
Not with the live stream. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, awesome. Hey, well, thanks for having me on here, guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Let's jump in. I think Gobby wanted to talk rankings.
Well, not talk. You criticized my rankings, justifiably so, I think, a couple of weeks ago. And I think it's something that has to be addressed. Eric Roussin contacted me. And lately, Herman's been critical. And lately, I've been trending more towards something that's more accurate and something where I can exercise more discretion rather than something that's surely result-based. And over time, one error compounds itself or a lack of judgment compounds itself. And within months, you have a shitstorm of rankings that make no fucking sense. And that's what's happening. So I'm looking for a little bit of input before I totally destruct and rebuild this shit.
Yeah, right. So the first thing that you always got to remember, like when you talk about the arm wrestling world, everybody is probably going to hate one person. That's the referee. But there's one figure that's hated even more, and that's the guy who does the rankings. So
yeah, I'm cool with that.
But you just have to accept that no matter what you do, people are going to give you a ton of hate.
I embrace that shit. That's not a question.
Yeah.
I just want to get the shit right. I just want to get it right.
But sometimes people start to listen to those voices and listen to the critics and be like, oh, maybe no. The thing is, like, no, good. Like, so I feel like rankings are not results, right? And they're also they're not a belt, right? Like there's belts out there and there's belt holders, but sometimes even the number one guy with the belt isn't even the number one ranked guy, right? There's the computer rankings, but the best rankings of all are done by super, guys who really know what's going on. Like, I mean, you look at a tournament, you look at so many factors, you look at, the order it happened, and if you're really, really aware, you look at everything. Like, the people, what's going on in their lives, they had a bad day for whatever reason, and you take everything into account. And the best rankings are the best prediction of what's going to happen next, right?
Agreed.
And dude, your rankings are terrible.
Yeah.
Dave Weekland is like not winning a state championship, and you guys got him.
If you want if you want to appease the masses, you have to do something that's result-based and people are accountable, only so you minimize the shitstorm coming my way. But really, I don't care so much about that. I just want to make the majority of the arm wrestling world somewhat happy and content with the rankings. However, it was okay for a while until Dave Weekling, and then all of a sudden other things happen, and then it compounds itself to a real problem.
Dude, it all started with Travis losing to Dave.
Yeah, right. So you have sandbagging, and sandbagging creates a lack of accuracy, and then it snowballs, and then someone beats this guy. Next thing you know, you have this guy you've never heard of ranked third, and then it's like
good rankings have to take everything into account. And everything. How much money were they paid? What was the last tournament? If they hold a bigger event tomorrow, like what's it really going to be? Like, you have to look at everything for the rankings to be accurate. You can either just be a computer and do what the WAL did or what Australian arm wrestling rankings did. And after 4 years or 5 years, you have a pretty accurate system, probably more accurate than a person who's going off results only is going to get. But then if you're like Engen or like you guys, like you should be able to do an even better job than a computer for accurately predicting the next champion.
Well, and the way the system's set up now is I don't even work my brain, right? It's this guy win, he goes there. Like it's a waste.
Yeah, I know.
It's a total waste of my intelligence and my ability to judge.
Dude, don't even bother.
Yeah.
Like just post the results.
And I've completely lost the ability to really fuck someone and be biased and really shake the tree. So no, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that. But no. But yeah.
But you should. I think you've bit off too much, man. Like.
Well, another thing. Like, I'm thinking of going number 1. Fuck the top 20 because really, who gives a shit? 11 to 19, going right to a top 10.
Too deep.
Yeah, too deep. One top 10, maybe adding a class. I'm not certain. Maybe shifting or adjusting the weight classes, but definitely going to a top 10 so that it has a little bit more merit. Because top 20, who gives a fuck about the guy who's 17th? I know Joseph there. He's been busting his ass to get to top 40. So for him, it's big. But for any guy with any little bit of dignity or balls, 17, 16, 15, it's nothing. Sorry, Joe.
Look at. I think rankings are fabulous. They're fantastic. I feel like if it wasn't for rankings, I feel like everybody who really cares about the ladder is looking at those rankings, and that's cool. And I wouldn't stop ranking guys under the top 5, but like the top 5 guys are probably your easiest. And the further down you go, the more murky it gets. Yep. And it's good to have names on paper, but man,
once you start,
should we have rankings at all, considering that we don't actually get a lot of the same guys in the room in a tournament format, and we don't have enough super matches amongst those top guys to even see how that shakes out?
Yeah, for sure you should have rankings because all it is a predictor, and it leads to discussion and it leads to people chasing people. And yeah, rankings can be biased. Rankings can be by association, which is super simple and straightforward. Like if you want to have a PAL ranking or a WAL ranking or a UAL ranking or WAF ranking, like within an association, it's very simple. It's when you start to cross, it gets tricky, but dude, it makes conversations. It makes for these matches to happen, I think, more likely than they would otherwise.
Yeah, so. I don't think it's that tough. I think right now I can dissolve mine into a top 10 and absolutely create the top 10 and justify every position very confidently and be able to argue it. Yeah. And that's talking everyone in North America. I'm pretty sure I can do that right now. It's just a question of, is that what the masses want, or is that the best thing for the sport? But once I get enough input from you and the people that I hold of high esteem, you, Herman, Eric Roussin, Josh Handlin, once I get enough feedback for the people that I value their opinions, then it's rock and roll time.
So where do you put in North America a 205 class? Where do you put Herman Stevens?
Oh wow, 205, right? I guess he'd have to. Well, Todd Hutchins would fit in there, so Todd would be 1. Herman would be top 3, 4. Top. I'd have to look because I don't have a 205.
How does he do with RVJ?
Okay.
Oh, trigger warning.
No. Herm spanks RVJ. Point final.
How about Storm Shalino?
Smokes him.
Trigger.
Now we're talking Herman sitting at 225 today, dropping down to 205. Right? That's what we're talking about. See, the problem with Herman is he's not overly. You don't see him everywhere, so it's hard to gauge. But But he had a super match with arguably the number 1, 220, 205, 210, 215.
Well, isn't the number 1 guy RVJ?
Fuck RVJ. Number 1's Todd Hutchins.
Todd Hutchins. You think Todd Hutchins is the number 1? He's a super heavyweight now.
He's a 205 guy. With enough money, with enough money, you're a fucking 205 guy. With enough money, you're a 205 guy.
Right. Right.
But that's a little bit drastic because you sit so high. But you're sitting at how much do you weigh, by the way?
242, 245. Okay.
Now, is that what John Milne lodged up your ass or not?
Man, I'm like 280 with Johnny. Yeah. Easy. I can't make weight with Johnny hanging around.
Yeah. So Todd's not 240. Todd's sitting at maybe 228, 230 with a lot of soft, bloated shit going on. You don't have as much of that sloppy, soft stuff that you can get rid of off quick for a tournament.
Right. Right. But that's the thing that's curious to me. Like, I mean, rankings and all that, like, how do we get that match to happen? like I know Herman won't sell his soul to the WAL, although I'm a constant little, in his ear telling him he should come to the dark side. But like, how does this match happen? How do we make, because I want to see Herman pull Storm, RVJ, another.
Well, see, it's an easy question. See, if I'm a man that has a YouTube channel with some anomaly from California who do splits with a 300-pound squat bar, and I have hundreds of thousands of subscribers and likes, I have enough money funneling to myself, and my name might be Devon, my name might not be Devon. And instead of doing a stupid bottom weight with a bunch of fucking losers, exception
Gobby, they are a bunch of losers, aren't they?
With the exception of me, because at least I've done some shit, right? Why not funnel that money and have a headlining match with Herman or RVJ or Herman and Todd, instead of dealing with rapists and bums and French guys?
The bottom 8 is the coolest 8 guys in arm wrestling. Don't kid yourself. No. These are some of the coolest 8 out there. We're talking about leaders here. We're talking about 8 French arm wrestling king.
Yeah. He's going to break his arm, by the way. He's never pulled, so he's going to bust his arm right in half.
Hey, Devon, so back to the question, how do you make those matches happen?
Right.
I mean, I guess a promoter has to put the matches on the schedule and maybe throw some money at it. I think it's that simple. But I mean, I haven't had a promoter contact me and say, hey, look, come pull Rob Vigent and here's the money, we'll cover your costs or whatever that is.
I don't believe that. I think you're lying to me right now.
No,
what would the price be?
I don't know, but I'm saying it's never even been offered. The only thing that's been offered.
Oh, come on. Don't say that. You just haven't been willing to take the offer.
No, Devon, no one's offered it. I've had multiple people call me out for matches. Hold on. Call me out for matches. No money, no expenses, none of that stuff. So just, hey, I want to pull you. And recently, I triggered Rob Vigent on this show. And so he emailed me a nasty email saying that he wanted to compete against me. Now, that's fine. Maybe we can put something together, but I can't respond to your call out just because it fits your schedule. Right.
No, I understand. Like, it has to make sense. And that's the thing with arm wrestling. It's like, it's the sports at a level now where you basically have to be willing to make some kind of concessions to accomplish the things you want to accomplish. Like,
Devon, so that's fair. So look, every year of WAL, I emailed you, hey, Devon, are they still doing these contracts? Are they doing this? Are they doing this?
Right.
So nothing's really changed on that front. And the thing is with the contract is that on paper, Devon, it says that you can't, last time I checked, you can't even do live stream events. This would mean that I would get shut down.
But look at me. I'm a WAL guy. I'm all over the place doing all sorts of stuff.
Correct, but you're violation of your contract. And so I'm not the kind of person.
I'm not. I'm never in violation. I don't believe, and maybe I'll get a phone call after this, but I don't think I've ever been in violation of my contract.
So I'll say this, Devon. The contracts that I read in the 2014, 2015, 2016 basically stated that the normal things that I do in support of arm wrestling would no longer be allowed. Now, most people didn't follow those early contracts and they took a risk. So Chris Chandler took the risk, signed up for a PAL Vendetta in Vegas, and he got shut down last minute. Bill Logsdon got shut down at UAL last minute. Ethan Fritchie got shut down at UAL last minute. So
it was not last minute. It was not last minute. Okay.
Chris Chandler or Bill Logsdon? Bill Logsdon was last minute because he was in LA.
There is no last minute. There was no last minute. Okay. Every single, at that point, okay, there was some strife between the leagues, and every WAL guy knew that if we pulled in UAL, we were going to be in trouble. Everyone, and it wasn't like, oh, we're heading to the tournament, get the phone call. We knew months in advance. And guys who did it, I mean, I can't speak for them because I don't know, but unless they were like off their phones and off social media, they should have got a message like long in advance.
But to your point about concessions, right? Yeah. That takes me to 2016. Those contracts weren't really doable because you're not paying me enough to take away my freedoms and things that I normally do. I would go to those.
Okay, so here, look at, man, I'm just a dreamer, okay? And I'm just like, I want to see you pull against these guys. I want to see you pull Storm. I'd love to see you pull RVJ. I'd love to see you get in with all these. I'd love to see you pull fucking Namistat and Glenn and those dudes. I would love to see you get in the mix this year. What if like, and I'm not a rep, but what if I could negotiate a contract for you, like a 1-year contract. Would you take that?
Let's do it.
Okay, yeah. That's amazing. Okay. All right. Well, hey, after this, I'm gonna call up Jamie and I'm gonna be like, Herman is in for a 1-year contract. Who knows?
Wait, can I do Zloty this year?
If I'm the boss, you can do whatever you want, but I'm not. So
that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. These organizations don't offer me enough to give up what I do.
What is Zloty like the holy grail for you? Is that all? Is that the end? Is that it?
Zloty is my opportunity to compete against the best in the world.
Yep.
Right.
But is that where you want to be right now? Like, is it best in the world this year for Herman, or is it cracking RVJ and cracking Hutchings? And I mean, those guys aren't far off.
No, Todd's definitely at the top of my list. He's number 1 at 205, but in the United States or North America. But no, I want to compete against the best in the world. And I think if I don't, it's time to quit. And that's where I was in 2017. So I either had to quit or go world class.
Listen, I hear you. Okay. I totally understand. I don't think that signing a WL contract will preclude you from accomplishing your goals. It'll probably only enhance them, because you will get more notoriety and you will have further opportunities if you succeed with this. Just slightly, maybe you're missing who you're missing. Prudnik, you're missing Babiev, you're missing Sasho. But dude, if the fire gets big enough, you'll have them anyways. Like, anyways, look, I'm trying to convince you to do something. I just want to see you arm wrestle. And I think you're missing out right now. I think you're missing out on opportunities that are right in front of you, like right here in the US.
Remember, Devin, before WAL, you had fought the world. Right?
Yeah.
That's where I am.
Yeah.
I'm not you, but I mean, I'm not like sunsetting, you know what I mean? No offense.
Let me tell you, listen, okay, having been there, okay, having chased the #1 spot in the world, I'll tell you a couple things. It's always shifting, okay? Like the #1 guy, as soon as you beat that guy, guess what? It wasn't him. It was a different guy, okay? You beat him, guess what? It wasn't him either, okay? And I'll tell you the main thing, just giving you some advice, okay, is have the most fun you can possibly have with it. And I know that beating Hutchings, beating Prudnik, beating, you know, whoever it is that you believe is #1 is going to be really the ultimate thing for you. But don't think that signing a WAL contract is going to preclude you from that. Because if you actually are at that spot, if you are actually the best dude in the world, believe me, it will come to you. Like, you sign that WL contract, it's going to enable you to have those stepping stone matches, which you really need, in my opinion, to get to Prudnik, to get to Sasho, whoever it is. Yeah, my opinion.
All right.
The biggest potential match for Wall coming into this season, in my opinion, not because I question the outcome, but I think the world, North America needs to see it, is Herman versus RVJ. That has to happen.
It's a great match.
It is.
And the thing is, if all the arm wrestlers know it, like I know it, everybody who follows arm wrestling, like really hardcore knows it. But the thing is the WAL's media and the presence that it pumps out is so big that you actually have to be like a higher level study. Okay. And man, like, you got to buy into, I don't want to tell anybody what to do. Okay. Because I really respect you, Herman, and I respect all you guys on the show here. And that's one of the reasons why this show is so cool, is because you guys, none of you guys have bought into any kind of thing. But I'm telling you, sometimes these things are great tools. Sometimes this will enable you to achieve your goals with greater ease and success. Like, I don't know, man. Like, what's going to get you the match you want faster? Like, with them or without them? That's really what it comes down to. What's going to help you achieve your goal faster? With them? Without them? I don't know. I'll tell you, ask the guys in the league how much they've been bound. Like, really bound.
Yeah.
And I think that for the most part, guys will have positive things to say. And I think that the next thing is, remember, at the end of the day, dude, you're your own man. It's a piece of paper. You can always change things. Like, there's always a way out if it's really that bad. Look, did you know the show was going to be me trying to recruit you into WL?
Get him a 1-year deal.
I figured part of it would end up that way, just not.
I've just been trying to do it for like the last 3 years, just because I want to see you pull, man. That's the only reason. I just want to see you pull because I know how good you are. Yeah. Anyways.
Talk to them. Get them 1 year. See what you can do.
Yeah. Pull anyways, let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
All right. Training update, Devon. You mentioned that you were switching to more of a power-based, or maybe higher intensity program. Can you explain some of that? Any games you might be seeing?
Yeah, it's wild. So my training is very much flavor of the month, like for myself personally. Like, whenever I encounter a new idea, I do my very best to absorb it and really digest it. And my body is in different states all the time, depending on all sorts of factors in my life. I got a huge, massive amount of information handed to me in Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
Okay, like, really, like, so I'm coming, like, let's talk about like macro pieces. Okay, like, I've been arm wrestling a long time, so I don't need to think about like months. I can think in like years. And I've come off a period where I've had surgery. I had 2 surgeries, my right and well, 3 surgeries actually, but my right and my left both went through periods of surgeries. And it was really important during those times for me to get my connective structures back together, make my joints work properly, get my tendons and ligaments tightened up. But that's done, really, especially my right. My left still got a little bit of tightening, but my right's real tight now. And, man, you can't get away from strength in arm wrestling. You just can't. You can't, like, there's no way can you make this sport. Like, people talk about endurance in arm wrestling. You can't. Arm wrestling, strength and power above all else. So, yeah, since I got back from Europe, I'm, like, on the most simple, basic periodization. Basically, between 10 days and 2 weeks-ish, just 2 blocks going back and forth. Just bang, 3 reps, 10 reps, 3 reps, 10 reps. And I'm just going to rock this thing like until it breaks, until it's like no longer giving me gains. And right now, so what was that, November, December, January. I've been doing it for like 3 months or so. Well, no, like 2.5 months. And the first month, like, I'll tell you, like, I don't think anything would have worked properly because I was coming off like a beatdown. Yeah, like a period from like April to like November where I didn't take a single break, and like I told myself after November I'm gonna just chill. So yeah, so I did. After Zloty, I did Japan and then India, and then I came home and I got on the program and I started banging it out. And the crazy idea that I picked up in Eastern Europe that was foreign to me, like, everybody knows periodization, but the thing that I really picked up was the no failure. And that's what I've really taken to heart. Like, I don't fail in my lifts. Like, I don't really do 1RMs where I fail. I don't do like any set where the last rep is killing me. I do less than I should in a workout. I leave my workout still feeling pretty good. At the end of the day, like, I can go to bed and think that I could maybe do more, but I'm like consistently banging out like 3 awesome workouts every single day. And just to give you an idea how successful this system is, in my left arm, I broke a record in one of my most difficult lifts the other day, just as part of my regular training. Like it wasn't even, I'm not even going for a record, and I broke it. So I love the simplicity of it. I love that I'm not killing myself. I feel good. I'm a big fan of it. Eastern Europeans, they know their strength, man. And you can never stop learning, and you can never stop adapting. So
has this affected your table time?
A little bit. Yeah, it has. So we've done a few things with the club. The club started to get really big. And I always want to be inclusive. Like I always want to have people come, and man, the thing is, at my age and my level, like the most important thing for me is my strength. Like I know how to arm wrestle pretty good, and I just need to be strong, like really strong. And the table sessions are, of course, like the most relevant. And we've got some guys now that are really good. We got one guy on the team, I'm telling you, this kid is strong. Okay, you guys know who Justin Major is? You don't know yet.
I know him. He comes and trains with me in Montreal. Yeah.
Okay, he's like 21. He's like 310, 315, like natural, like son of an arm wrestler, hands like a freaking bear. He's been pulling with us religiously since he was like 17, and now he's just like, he's that big turkey on the team who actually starting to figure out who he is, and he just fucking wrecks people, you know, like he's so strong. Like he's so strong on the table now, so he's really good for me to pull with. But yeah, if I miss a practice right now, I'm really just about getting that next level of strength.
Yeah, Devon, so kind of what you're describing is basically, I mean, kind of how I trained maybe the first 4 or 5 years in the sport. And that was based on a lot of powerlifting and Olympic lifting articles that I followed. I'd say over the last couple of years, I probably have been forced to do a lot more 1-rep maxes and failure lifts because I haven't trained year round or haven't trained consistently. So I would choose to go to Zloty 2 months out, and then I'd have to get as much as possible in those 2 months. But for those out there, I can say it's a pretty good way to lift. And it's kind of odd in the sense that, like you said, there's always more in the tank. You finish a workout, you actually feel good about it. You're actually sort of just getting into the groove of things, but it definitely works. And I've experienced the same thing where your training, your last training set suddenly becomes new maxes, you know, and even more so on a regular basis.
Yeah. I think that's a foreign concept for a lot of us.
Well, I mean, I think it goes against common sense, or, you know, what you would think. You would think you would need to push it, right?
Yeah. And also, in a way, Devon, you're at fault for that. I mean, for years, you've been banging the drum on conditioning and stamina and table time. And I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying everything has periodization. Everything has to run and flow. There are cycles and stuff. But I've always, my only criticism on you over the years has been too much volume, not enough high-end intensity and resistance. But I mean, you know better about this.
There's probably a lot of truth to it. I feel like a lot of what I'm just biased like everybody else, you know, and I see things through my own lens. And I don't think it's a bad idea when you're injured and you can't do the intensity that you really should to make up for it with volume.
No,
okay,
for sure.
And that's probably where I was. I also don't think it's bad when you're like super healthy and like a kid to do a ton of volume. Like when you hear like a 17, 18-year-old overtraining, I don't get as upset as when I see like a 35-year-old, 40-year-old overtraining.
Yeah. Hence what I mean with cycles, right? You go a couple months, high-end couple, you know, you have to mix it up. There's even what you're on now. What you're on now, if we talk in 3 months, it'll be like, Gobby, I'm away from that, for, you know, because you cannot keep, you will plateau. There is not one paradigm that works consistently, indefinitely. Every paradigm, every philosophy, everything has to change eventually to promote growth. Yeah,
I do agree with that.
Yeah. And Devon, you've got a lot of you know, Devon fans. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I guess people would look up to you and think that, well, you know, what you're doing is more applicable to them than, let's say, you know, what Denis Saplinkov is doing, right? Would your recommendations change for a beginner or a low-level pro from maybe previous recommendations? Would you tell them to shift more towards a power focus? I mean, we see a lot of guys like in the training group, talking about training for endurance when they have zero strength.
Yeah. I would tell guys I would say the thing is so much of it really hinges on your connective structures. And that's the real thing that this sport is just going to punish you like on a big level if you get it wrong. Like 1RMs in the arm wrestling world, I feel like they're really heavy on connections. And I remember when I started, when I would do like a ridiculously hard arm wrestling session or lift, like I'd be so wrecked that the best thing I could do is do a ton of reps afterwards. I still do think that reps are going to build your tendons and your connections. But I do also think that the only thing that matters is strength. So I would just always preach, and this hasn't really changed. I would preach, do the most you can to get stronger. And then when you start to break because your connections can't handle it, then do reps. And that's a tough balance. And I think the healthier you are, like the healthier your connections are, the more you can just be banging threes and singles every day, It's tough, man. Listen, my kid, well, I've got a few kids now, and they all train, okay? There's a little bit of athlete in each one of them. And I really don't want to mess up with my kids. And my oldest one is now
Milo.
Yeah, Milo now is like, he's just at a point now where he can start to hang with like the junior guys in the club, and he's a really good athlete. Like his left hand is bigger than my right hand already. he's gonna probably be an okay athlete. And he's talking to me a lot about training, and I don't want to get it wrong with him. So I tell him, I'm like, the golden rule above everything is set your goals right. Like, pick what it is you want to do. Like, this is the most important thing. If you get that exactly right, okay, get your goal exactly right, all this stuff just falls into place so much easier. Once you have your goal set, then listen to your body, okay, because it's a better teacher than anyone outside your body, okay? There's experts all over the world who can help you, coach you, but ultimately, this guy he knows better, okay? And then he's like, okay, well, what does that look like? And I'm like, okay, well, then what it is, it's about risk. Then you start taking risks, okay? And when you're comfortable with a small risk, then go with the higher risk, and then a higher risk. And eventually, you're going to get an injury. And when you get an injury, scale it back. Okay, and start taking your risks again. And this is the window that athletes play with. They play with a window of risk and injury mitigation. Okay, and there's a window that you operate, and that's what training is, and so it's always changing.
Yeah. Hey, Joseph.
Yes.
Does any of this change your perspective on training? I mean, I know, like, usually you end up discussing yourself as more of an endurance puller. And I know recently we've talked more about strength training. What are your thoughts on this, coming from your perspective?
Coming from my perspective, I've been pulling now 5 years. It has been kind of weighing on me. I've been thinking about changing from doing less table time and maybe doing a couple of more heavier days, just because, I mean, I don't feel like I'm lacking in strength. I just feel like I'm definitely overbalanced to where I can always pull longer than most everyone, but I'm definitely not the strongest dude in the beginning. So, yeah, I've thought about it pretty hard, and I probably will start changing. It just depends on events and stuff.
Yeah, I think if you can do it, if you can add, I think one of the best periods of my life for training is I was doing 1 rep max work every 4 to 5 days. And somebody told me at some point that it's actually not the physical body, but it's more the mental circuitry that requires like a 96-hour rest or whatever before doing that, full pulse.
Yeah, the nervous system.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why this periodization is interesting, because you're not working at 1 RM. You're working at like 3, and it's not even that tough. It's like probably actually more like a 5 or but you're doing 3. So your nervous system is fine, but the physical system is getting broken down over the period of the 10 to 14 days. So like at the end of the block, your physical system has really taken a lot of damage. And then for the next block, it gives your physical system more of a chance to recover, but you're still doing hypertrophy, which is, kind of builds for the platform of more strength later, right?
Correct.
Yeah. There's all sorts of things that work, man. There's so many systems that work. You just got to believe in what you're doing.
You have to have also the mindset and awareness when it stops working to get the fuck out of there and switch it up. Like there's adaptability, the ability. Top athletes know how to be adaptable and know this. That's sometimes the difference between a great athlete and a good athlete is their ability to be objective and be adaptable to the environment. The environment being their body.
Very true. So you're gonna beat Blue Bowen or what?
I'm still on the fence whether this whole thing is going to happen. Of course, I'm leaning towards it.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. I'm telling you, dude, the sponsors are the money's in the bank account.
Dude,
Line 1, thank you very much. Spartan Wellness, thank you.
I've been watching a little bit more of his videos, and I'm thinking, man, I got to beat him because he's such a fucking jackass. So I'll probably go on a cycle for your event and just get up to about 182 and just fucking smoke his ass in the strap. Fuck it. But we'll see.
Get him.
But
he'll start in a hook with you, I bet.
Yeah, then he'll get thrown right out of his shoes.
Just tell him you want to start in a hook.
Yeah, but of course, he's already claimed that. Whether or not he follows through with it is another thing. But we also have to understand that Evan Bogoyan's walking away with the money, right? So I'm going into this event.
Is he? Are you sure?
Jesus fucking Christ! Who's beating him right-handed? Don't give me loud.
Okay, listen. The way the tournament looks is this. Okay, Craig and Evan, first round.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, doesn't matter. Craig's a bum.
Maybe, but I think whoever gets out of that round is it's not gonna be easy.
No,
it's not an easy win.
You're pairing everyone up with a more or less of a good foe, right? So everyone's gonna come out of the round, but Evan, when he's in shape, relatively speaking, his endurance is second to none, with the exception of maybe you. So regardless of what happens with Craig, he's gonna have a break. Then he's gonna have the fucking Frenchman and Laba, like that's a buy.
No, it's not Frenchman and Laba.
Who?
It's Frenchman and Juji.
So the Frenchman, he breaks his arm, and Juju, whatever that guy's name, and he rolls his wrist like it's a fucking papier mâché. Like it doesn't fucking matter. Evan, whatever.
Wait,
Juji.
For fuck's sake. For fuck's sake.
Yeah, man.
The fuck.
Juji
I'm telling you, listen. Yeah, Juji's in. God. Yeah. Listen, Juji is no slouch, man. Yeah. He is no slouch.
Yeah.
That guy.
He beats one.
If you are not fresh, and you're Evan Burgoyne and you want to showboat, because you know that Evan's not just going to beat him. If he can beat him, let's just say Evan can beat him. He's not going to beat him easy. He's not. He's going to just hold him and yap at him. He's going to try and make him quit.
Yeah.
Juji is a super high-level athlete. Forget what we all know. He's just starting. We all know that. But I'll tell you, he's a natural arm wrestler. He is. And he's super fit. He's super fit, and he's a natural arm wrestler.
So is Michael Phelps, and that dork in the top left corner on my phone would smoke him. So come on. I don't give a shit how good an athlete is. This is arm wrestling. This isn't athletics.
We'll see. But you still pick him over French arm wrestling kid.
The French arm wrestler is what, 78? Well, going by his videos, 77, never arm wrestled?
He is got more heart than half.
Sakes. Don't come on my show. Don't come on Herman and my show and sandbag and talk shit. Like, at least be legit. Like, don't take us for fools. It won't work. This isn't pound for pound. This
I'm
isn't
taking you for. Hey, listen, French arm wrestling king. You see him working out all the time. He's pumping beaver, man. He's pumping beaver all day long.
No one pumps more beaver than me. No one pumps more beaver than me. It doesn't translate.
Devin, Rob Vidgen said I can't compete in WAL. Can I sign up for the bottom 8?
No, you're too good. You're too good. No, we only take bums in the bottom 8.
Yeah. No, I hear there's money at the bottom 8 though.
Drellick, you might be allowed in. You might.
I don't even want to be part of that. I'll go film it, but I don't need to be part of that.
Even when Drellick tells you, "Sorry, I have too much dignity to be part of this event," like it's time to shut it down.
Everybody wants to be part of the bottom 8. I even had guys from the top 8 contacting me wanting to be in the bottom 8, and I'm like, I don't want to deal with Igor. Okay, everybody wants in this thing.
Yeah, you got a shovel over there. Want in this thing. I want it. There's money at the end. It's going to cost me nothing because you're going to pay my expenses.
The word on the street is actually that Blue Bowen is the betting favorite to win the whole event.
Show me where the betting in is, and let me go get my money out of my account. Like, show me where that is.
People are saying that he's going to beat you,
Evan,
and then he's going to. They say he's going to beat you, and then he's whoever Artem or Laba. He's going to walk through them, and then he's going to beat Evan in the strap. That's what people are saying.
Oh. People who
I'm privy to a lot of information comes through my inbox.
Dimwits in New Zealand and Australia.
A lot of people think Blue's going to win the whole thing.
Give me names so I can go fucking troll them. No, there's no. You're fabricating shit, or you're getting stuff from Australia, and those fuckers know arm wrestling like you fucking know bowling. Hey, fuck off.
Oh, hey, did you hear what I'm doing in Australia? Did you hear the challenge that I got?
No.
Brett Coots and Lachlan Adar, I think his name is.
A couple ones. Gotcha. What's up?
Yeah. So they want. Well, I'll tell you, the one guy beat Ron Bath, I think. But
yeah, and the other one, his main claim is beating Jordan Davis, who's 160 pounds and 7 feet tall.
Right. So they feel like they're both really good in a hook, and so they want to double team. So tag team. So, yeah, double team in a hook. In the straps, left-handed.
That is the gayest thing I've heard for about a week.
That's what I said. I'm like,
that only comes out of Australia. That idea only comes out of Australia.
Right. I'm like, this is so weak that I have to accept it. I'm like, this will be your greatest loss ever. I'm giving you everything, and I'm still going to drill you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah, drain Bowen's checking account for that one. Make sure he pays you for that shit.
Yeah, it'll be cool, though. It's at the Arnold, so I'm a little bit happy about that. It'll be fun.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, let's segue. Devin, I've got a hot take for you. I need a reaction to this, all right? Devon Larratt is no longer a top 10 arm wrestler in the world, either hand.
Boom.
Yeah, I heard you losers talking about it last week there. It's hard to say where I fit. I'll tell you. Now, what are we talking, right hand or left hand? Because it's different.
You can take them separate. I was saying both, but we can analyze them separately.
I got you 16th on the right and 18th on the left.
Yeah, I mean, who do you think is going to beat me? You think Breslin's going to beat me? Like, there's some matches that I'm like, I will laugh at.
Are we talking North America or world?
Right-handed?
Are we talking world?
Dude, I'll fucking kill him. I will crush him. Listen, right-handed, dude, I will play with people. I'll play with them. You'll see. But it's not like you'll see. It's like, look at whatever. I've done it. How many times do I have to prove it? Over and over. I lose one match right-handed to Michael Todd because I'm like, thinking about Dennis. And listen, I don't want to make excuses. I never want to make excuses. I lost a match.
But you said it's a moving target.
that it's not easy to beat me. Yeah. It's not easy to beat me. Where's my right?
Yeah, right now. Where do you think? That's the real question.
Well, I'm telling you, I want to be I want to beat Dennis. Okay, that's what my head is thinking. Because I think that Dennis, say it's, in my opinion, the top 3 guys in the world right now should be, in no particular order, and I'll throw one wild card in there, okay? One wild card. There's a lot of great guys in the categories. And ranking, like, Chris, you know this because it's so difficult to do. But to say the number 1 spot belongs to either Dennis or Levon, I think is hard to argue.
Dave Chafee, okay? Number 1 right-handed in the world right now, Dave Chafee.
Well, that's a ridiculous idea. That's another one of those paper ones. Okay, that's what that is. But actually, I hope that you do rank him 1 because he's in the WAL, and that means that we're going to get that ranking spot. So on paper and on promotion, yeah, give Dave the number 1 spot. But in my mind, in my honest opinion, it's probably got to be Dennis or Levon, and it would be very hard to convince me otherwise.
Trubin coming up the rear?
No.
Third
place, in my opinion, would be none other than Vitaly Lalatin. No. Maybe not right, maybe more left, but I feel like his potential.
He's coming. He's
awesome. He's super awesome. And I think that the 4th spot is a wild card. Okay. I think once you get to 4th, it's super murky. And even by 3rd, it's really murky. But you got to put Michael in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, in my opinion, I can hang with those names. I know I can. And my favorite against Levon and Dennis today, I'm not favorite, but you better believe it's not going to look like the left. And when it happens, like, don't count me out. Don't do it. And once you get to Michael Todd, like, I plan on cracking that this year. I mean, again, it's not like a gimme, but if you think that I can't hang with Michael Todd, well,
no, you should have beat him, and I know why you didn't, and I'm sure next time you pull him, you will beat him. You're the king of adjustments.
To say that, look, the thing is, once you start talking about the top 20 arm wrestlers, any one of those guys on a good day versus a bad day can, things can happen, and they're all relevant. Like, there's not a guy in the top 20 who is facing anybody in the top 5 who it's like, oh, I don't need to train, I can just show up off the couch. And no, the level is high.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like I'm good. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see this year. We'll see. Because I'm not stopping high-level competition.
How old are you?
I got a whole bunch of matches, and none of them are bums.
He's 44.
Hey?
You're 44, right? 44.
I'll be 44 in April.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where are you, I guess, with respect to your prime? Have you passed it? Are you approaching it? I mean, how does that look these days? I've heard you answer the question in the past. I'm curious if it's changed.
Yeah, I feel like when I was like 33, in 2008, I was like a super, super bad human being.
Manchester, England against John Berzink again.
Yeah, I was really bad. Like, my injuries hadn't really started to affect me that much. Like, we all as arm wrestlers carry injuries, but I was still young enough and healthy enough where they weren't really that big of a deal. I arm wrestled, very well from a very fundamental standpoint. Like, I was uninjured, so I could do all the moves like the way you're supposed to do them. And man, I was doing combat tours, so I was being fed. I was training every day, all day. I had one job, and that was kicking ass. When I came back from those missions, I was a bad dude. But now, and I was hungry. I was like you, Herman. I was like looking at that spot, and I was chasing. I was very much a hunter. My role in the arm wrestling world now is not the same. It's not. Like, I can say whatever I want, but the truth is I have been there. And one of the things that I hold true, like very dear in my life, is life's about a couple things, you know. It's about having fun, and it's about giving back in some way. And the amount of energy that it takes to exclusively become the very best in the world at something is all encompassing. And I do have an element, much more than in 2008, of having fun and giving back.
Yeah,
so look at, like, I feel like I can still do these matches, and I actually still think that I can maybe beat the #1 guy in the world if I set everything in the right place. But at this point, I really like having a lot of fun, and I like to, you know, not that I'm some kind of saint, but I like to give back too. You know.
So, but was your prime back in 2008, 2009?
Man, it's hard to say. Like, I feel like the thing in arm wrestling that was really my gift, the thing that made me really, really good, is not why I'm good today. I think when I was in 2008, I had this ability to have a high hand, a high post, and that was like my spot. And people would kind of run from that spot one way or another. And I was able to adjust to them running away, whether it was on the inside or outside. And it made for a guy who was really hard to deal with. And I know that guy's top spot today would probably beat my top spot today. Sorry, I might have said that all weird, but that guy's post might have been stronger than my post. And knowing what I know, it's hard to deal with when a guy has the post angle on you. I'd say that my strap pulling now is far superior to my strap pulling then. Yeah. So I don't know, man. Like, it's hard to say. Like,
your present king move is eons better than your king move back in 2010.
Yeah, but the king's move is not as powerful of a move as a properly executed, you know, high hook. Mm-hmm. A high hook, it's tough to deal with a guy who's got a great high hook and has options that flow from there. It's tough to deal with. Like, no, I don't know, man. I don't know. But look, we've seen all sorts of champions with different styles. So there's no and I don't plan on stopping at all. Like, I really hope that I can remain strong. And I feel like I've kind of set myself up so that I should be strong 10 years from now. I should be strong 20 years from now. Just going off of what I've seen in the arm wrestling world and, you know, what my options are. Like, I think I should still be good. We'll see.
That's fair.
See. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. I'm going to beat Saplankov next year.
I hope so.
Now. Right inside. Boom. Boom. Right in there.
I hope so.
Me too.
Hey, Devon. So why is your post weaker now? Is that due to the surgeries?
Yeah, I think so. It's hard to explain. Like, when you start arm wrestling, like, hard and doing the right things for arm wrestling, like getting strong in those weird angles, you're going to make mistakes. And those mistakes grow scar tissue and spurs. And I'll tell you, some of that stuff is actually good. Like, you know, like when you're at like that 5-year mark and you start to be like, oh, my elbows kind of crack a bit now. And like, but at the same time, you start to get super tight, you know, like you start to get that feeling of tightness, and that'll just keep on going until a point where you've got a joint that looks like a porcupine and you're mega stable, like mega stable, but everything hurts. Mm-hmm. And it's really hard to make progress in the gym. And when they clean all that out, there's a whole bunch of stability that gets lost. And like, the thing that makes a great arm wrestler is the chain, like the full chain of everything working together. And when you get that stuff cleaned out, it's like, here you are having to use muscles again, like only muscles. And that's where I was at, like after the surgery for quite a while, like just you and more open. I couldn't be like all in tight and throw a whole bunch of weird pressures that stabilize through the elbow at a person. It just wasn't going to work. So I started to have to be like more open, like more dragging, more that kind of stuff. So my style like adapted. I just didn't want to stop pulling. I'm still hoping that comes back. Like I'm working my post more than ever. It might come back. Yeah. Surgery will shake you up, man. It'll shake you up. Mm-hmm. Yeah. My left, it took me in my right, it took about, it took like 3 years. What happened was I found a lock way on the outside that worked on the arm wrestling table. And I found that quite quickly, maybe after like less than half a year after surgery. So I got like a king's move. And then like a few months after that, I found that if I got like way in behind, I could press. But the whole middle part, nothing. And it took 3 years. It took 3 years for it to close in. Is that me?
No.
I guess a follow-up question on some of this. We talked about Michael Todd. We talked about Tim Bresnan. I guess regarding Bresnan, do you think PAL wasted Tim Bresnan's prime by matching him up against 209 guys?
No, I think they're relevant matches. Here's the thing. Tim Bresnan is awesome. He is really like Tim Bresnan's a bit like you, in a sense that he didn't want to just play in with the WAL. So they paired him off against their best lighter guys. I don't like who should Tim have pulled? Like
okay, so Tim pulled Pushkar in a Vendetta, and yep. I believe it was the first round. Yeah, he stopped Pushkar, rotated him across the table in the hook, and pinned him. But I think he tore his bicep. Right. So Pushkar
that was like 3 weeks or something silly after he pulled me. So we pulled in like a very difficult match in Canada, like it was really, really soon. I told him, I'm like, dude, you're crazy to accept this match. I'm like, are you still not sore? I'm sore. But he was like, oh, if the PAL asks me, I got to do it. Like I can't say no with this opportunity. And I'm like, yeah, okay, fair enough. But Tim is a super bad dude. But the truth is, so is Rustam. And it's like I don't care if Rustam weighs $180. Like,
Correct. But Tim faced Krause, he faced Prudnik, he faced Rustam. And I mean, he could have been pulling Trubin. He could have been facing a legit super heavyweight. I don't understand. I mean, I think we missed out on some good stuff.
Yeah, well, that can be said for a lot of guys, but I don't think that was bad stuff. I don't think it was. I actually thought those matches were all cool. Like, I see those names that you mentioned like super, super elite. Like, and they're so good to me that, I mean, yeah, they are smaller dudes, but who's going to beat them? It takes it's a very short list of super heavyweights that can hang with those guys anyways. Like,
but the Krause match and the Prudnik match were easy wins for Tim. And I think you might be confusing that Krause and that Prudnik with today's Krause and Prudnik.
Fair enough. But I don't think that anybody would have said that going in, that it's like an easy deal. Like, I think that Tim is the constant underdog, right? Yeah. Doesn't matter who you.
My concern is that I think they just underestimated Tim when he should have been facing legit super heavyweights.
I think Tim has been underestimated throughout his whole career and continues to be. I'm doing it right now. Yeah.
On Michael Todd, you mentioned Michael being probably at the number 4 spot. But I mean, so Pushkar beat him last. Yeah. And then even Dennis beat him in 2016. Yeah. So that tells me, I mean, the endurance game maybe isn't really.
But they were both close matches. And honestly, in my opinion, like Pushkar versus Michael Todd was a great match, and I think it went the way it was supposed to go. Like, I've seen that match many times, and I think that match was straight up, like, no problem. Michael Todd versus Dennis, Michael blew that match. In my opinion, Michael, I think, starts to listen to people sometimes. Michael gets a ton of hate. And I think that he sometimes starts to feel the criticism of him being like a slow puller, defensive style puller. I think he felt the pressure to finish that way too early. And yeah, I think if he had to just wait it out, I think he would have done way better. But I don't think Dennis is the same guy today that he was in 2016 either.
Yeah,
but
I was there for that match, and I think he did try to finish too early, but I'm not convinced that it wasn't because Michael was getting tired.
Maybe.
I think there might have been some desperation, and then he had to act.
Maybe, but it just didn't look typical for him.
Correct. And what are your thoughts about the match with him and Prudnik? I think it's probably one of the best vendettas I've ever seen. Not Prudnik, I'm sorry, Trubin. Michael and Trubin.
Yeah, that's looked a few different ways, hasn't it? Yeah. They've got a little bit of history now both ways. But yeah, so Trubin is like a great answer to Michael Todd because Prudnik does have that high hook ability. And yeah, so that's, I think, a bad matchup for Michael. That's weird. So yeah, and that's where that whole, it's really hard for one guy sometimes to be the clear favorite, because I do feel like a really fit Trubin is probably the favorite against a really fit Michael.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'd still think that Michael had a better shot of beating Levon or Dennis than Trubin does.
Yeah. Trubin's a very tall puller. He pulls high. He pulls tall. It's hard to get around him. He adjusts quick. Yeah.
Good times.
Yes, sir.
Good times in the wrestling world.
All right, Devon, we've been asking everyone sort of about this. What are your thoughts, USA versus Europe? Skill level, can we match up? Can we match up outside of the super heavyweights? What are your thoughts?
I think that the answer's changed a lot over the years. I think that the big difference now is the countries with really the ones that have it in their schools, I think, are gaining exponentially. I think if you look across most of the weight categories, the strength level is a little bit higher on average in Eastern Europe than anywhere else. That's my opinion, just from what I've seen. I think that when you leave Western Europe and go a little bit to the east, but not so far east that the bone structure starts to get thinner, I think that's your sweet spot. So, yeah, I think that part of the world is probably leading in the strength department in the arm wrestling world right now.
Is it anatomical? Is it anatomical or is it cultural?
I think it has. It's hard for me to say that it's any one thing. I think that there's certainly a cultural element. Like, can't really argue that one at all. And the other one that I'm not sure about is if there is an anatomical element. Like, that's the part I don't know. Like, there's cultures all over the world that have strength in them. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to say. There is something that I think that if you go too far to the east, I think that the main part of the bell curve is athletes that are going to do well in lighter categories. Like, if you want to go to Japan, I'd say, it's extremely competitive in the 60, 65 kilo division. Like, I think that you're going to have some amazing athletes in that band, but I don't think you're going to have a ton of them in the super heavyweight division. And you will in Northern Europe and to the east. Like, there's tons of them. Yeah. Jody's like, what are you doing, Devon?
I thought you were in Austria.
I already told them to tell you I'm starving.
Devon, I thought you were in Europe this week. No?
No, I'm here.
Oh,
I'm here.
Bowen mentioned something about you being in the area. I thought you were maybe in Australia or going towards slowly gravitating towards us.
I'm going to Australia in a few weeks.
Okay.
I was in Norway, but yeah, I'm here. I'm training.
Nice.
I'm grinding.
Any bad dudes over there in Norway?
Yeah, Norway's got some really cool stuff going on. They've got something that I really like over there, and I think that we should do it here as well, is they got the Norway Cup. So all their major tournaments lead towards points to like a grand trophy, and there's financial incentive, and the top athlete coming out of that series is going to get an award from the King of Norway, which is awesome. There's one guy I really like over there. Well, there's a lot, but one dude, Robert Staxton, I pulled him last year. He's good. He's really good. He's a big dude. He's young. He's crazy about arm wrestling. He got third in the Worlds this year, right hand. He was fourth, but Georgie got busted, so they bumped him up to third. But he's legit good, like legit. Like he could hang with a lot of guys, I think.
Do you plan on pulling Eric's event in March in Ottawa?
I'm not going to be there, I don't think. Okay. I would. That's like the 20th or something, isn't it? 24th or something?
Something like that.
I'm gone. I'm in Australia.
How close?
Yeah, I would have. My kids will be there, I think.
Hypothetically, if you were there, how close do you think, on a scale of 0 to 10 being extremely worried, how close are you to thinking Alex Paquette can beat you right?
0.
Fuck off. I disagree. Man, I wanted to see that.
Why don't you put some money up?
Yeah,
How much money you want to put up?
Here we go. No. I'm gonna go get a bum from Florida, a coke addict with a criminal record. I'm gonna bring him up to Kingston, and I'm gonna pay him to pull another bum. That's what I'm gonna do with my money, because apparently that's the norm.
Hey, this is you we're talking about now. You know what I do with my money. What do you want to see? You want to see me pull Paquette?
I want to see Herman RVJ. That's where my money's going.
Okay, so we're done with the Paquette conversation already?
Well, if I got to put up $5,000 to see it, I believe he's very close to beating you, depending on
how much do you believe? How much do you believe?
$17.
Dude, seriously.
Wait a minute. You think Paquette is close to beating Devon?
I do.
But then you also said you wanted to see me pull Paquette?
No.
The rankings. I don't know if you should be in charge of the rankings anymore. You should maybe just abandon that whole project. You know how you win bets? You find people who think with this and not with this. Those are the suckers.
He's trying to set me up, get me to fly to Canada and get roasted by a Devon beater.
Understand my framework. If you want to understand my framework of thought, I'll explain it to you. I believe Paquette and Herm are very, very close. And I believe unless Devon is super peaked for something big, he's just right there. That's why I think you've dropped.
Dude, listen. Anytime I want to beat the cat, I can beat the cat. Anytime, any day.
Without the King's move?
What? It doesn't look it. I can. It's just easy to do it with the King's move. It's easy to do it with the King's move. It doesn't cost me any inflammation in my elbow. If I want, I can press them. If I want, I can't. I just don't have to. Look at
my bullshit detector.
Everybody knows if they want to match with me, I'm not that hard to find. I'm really not. If you make it anywhere close to worth my look, I pulled them last summer for what was it, $500?
Yep. Yeah, that's what it was.
You've seen that video, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think that much has changed?
Well, I think you've trended down a little bit, and I think he's trended up quite a bit.
Listen. What would make you think that I've trended down? What would make you think that?
Many things. Well, Todd was
practice videos.
Todd was a technical, and that was a technical.
Hey, you know about taking videos out of context. You know all about that.
I know how to criticize taking videos out of context. I can fucking tell you that, and your buddy.
There's a million videos out there that if you don't know the context and you piece them together, you could be like, I don't think Devon's in the top 1,000.
I know Michael Todd. I know Saplenkov. I know what happens at 44. and I know there's a hormonal slow decrease, and I believe you're not supplementing that. And Paquette being 25.
Do you believe in Crazy George?
Shit, junk. The worst thing for arm wrestling, junk. No, he's a parasite in the world of arm wrestling. His move is a parasite. He's a good guy. He's a great guy, but his move is a shit stain in the underwear of arm wrestling. That's what his move is.
I don't know about that. See, damn, I think we disagree on this.
Well, we've always disagreed on this.
To me, there's so much beauty in that.
Yeah, of course.
There's so much. Yeah. It's like, to me, it's like one of the coolest things about our sport, that you can, as an old dude, be relevant.
You can, but you don't have to revert to getting under the table to be relevant. Bresden's 50. Todd is 48, 50. I mean, we know this as a fact, but he's getting under the table. Now, it's not within the paradigm of arm wrestling. It's not that bad. It's hurting spectating. People watch that. Kids I train watch that and say, man, that was the ugliest shit I've ever seen. I don't even think I want to see that again. A fucking guy who's pulled in 2 tournaments is saying that. It's optically bad.
We just need to educate.
It's not
technically
bad. I think we just
need to educate.
It's optically bad for our sport.
Listen, there's young pullers, there's seasoned pullers, there's old pullers. You won't see any old pullers, really, unless they're geared out of their minds, winning with young man tactics. Okay? Once you get old, you got to pull different. Yeah. It's just, you can't be as muscular. You have to use these weird angles and moves.
Yeah. I'll take some drugs before I get under the table and duck. That's for fucking sure. Come on.
I tell you, George is not that low, man. George is not that low. He's King's moving pretty high. Like, I don't know. Look, I'm just telling you, don't think because the age goes up that the caliber goes down. I told Igor, I'll bet a lot of money that Crazy George beats Zoloev in a super match.
Yeah. Arnold Classic, where the pin pads are 2 inches. That's where George wins, when the pin pads. People don't know that the Arnold Classic since 2000.
Dude, this whole pin pad thing is bullshit anyways. You should be pinning right to the tabletop.
Yeah, of course. Here we go. Segue to
This is all safety stuff. All these safety rules that we've invented, it's making our sport soft. That's the real problem. Get rid of the elbow pads. Get rid of the pin pads.
I say
let people arm wrestle the way they're supposed to.
Freedom table, chain link pads, hookers as refs. I mean, let's just go all the way. Fuck it.
Let's just do X arm.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's do what we are. Let's just not try and be something we're not. Okay? Is that a pin? He's not finished. He's still got life in him. He's got 2 more inches. Yeah. Right to the tabletop, man.
Yeah. So let's have 18-minute matches. That's what the sport needs. 18-minute average matches.
I want to see somebody die. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. For another angle on the King's move, how do I become Crazy George? I pulled at a local event last summer, and my arm didn't go straight for about a month. And I thought my career as a real arm wrestler was over, but I was able to fix it. But if this happens again, how do I embrace it?
Man, just get that strap on and start rolling out. Just start rolling. Learn the way of the thumb.
First of all, you got to throw it. You got to throw out all the mirrors in your home because you're not going to be able to look at yourself again. So that's number one. Okay,
it's not that easy, man. If it was that easy, everybody'd be doing it. And don't kid yourself. Guys will do anything to win. Guys will do anything to win. Guys will kill themselves to win a freaking arm wrestling match, and we all know that.
I don't disagree.
And if you think that you wouldn't King's move if you had it, you just don't have it. You're one of those hook-only guys.
I go play badminton.
Don't tell me. Don't even pretend with me that if you couldn't King's move and beat everybody, that you wouldn't do it. If you say that to me, you're just a liar.
I go to the YMCA and play fucking badminton and racquetball before I do King's move. That's for fucking sure. If I need to get on the table and wait till my opponent's down to 5% of his strength capacity,
dude, you just can't do it.
Of course,
stop lying to me and everybody else who's listening, and just admit it. Just admit that you can't do it.
Anyone can do it. The question is, can they do it at that level?
Can't. You show me one match where you win against anybody legit with a King's move. Show me one. Man,
I don't
tons
do
of
it.
guys do it.
Why would I do it? I choose not
because
to do it.
you would win matches if you could do it properly.
You know what? Putting arsenic in the beer of my opponent 20 minutes prior to a match will do too. But you know what? I don't find it that.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Everybody knows that that's crossing the line.
Oh, yeah,
Everybody knows that.
But dropping your chin to the pads is to the base of the table is fucking awesome. Like, come on.
That's still good in my realm, man.
I know it is.
You gotta pin that arm.
Hey, Devin,
I know it is.
You ever see the live match photos where it's just Michael's arm hanging up, sticking out above the table?
Dude, listen, my YouTube channel, every single video I make, I get like 20 comments. Like, I'm gonna start like, look at like, he's not under this pillow. He's not. Like, man, people, I know it gets a ton of ridicule. I know it does. But I know that if people could do it, they would. I know that because I know people. I know that if people had it in their arsenal, they'd use it.
No.
I don't believe it when, dude. If you could win by top rolling, you win by. It's called versatility. Like if you can.
No, top rolling, you're still using strength. You're using.
I've never met a. Oh, listen, in King's moves, there's strength in the King's moves. Don't think that there's not.
Obviously, because it takes them 9 minutes to fatigue their opponent before they can come and pin them.
Well, why aren't you pinning them? What? You're not strong enough?
Oh, you know why they're not pinning them, because you're fucking leaning right out.
Yeah, because they're not strong enough. Because they did it wrong. They're not strong in the right place.
You're bullshitting the wrong guy with this one, man.
Dude, you're not listening.
Listen,
if you're strong enough, you'll beat a King's move. You can beat a King's move all sorts of different ways if you're strong enough.
Yeah. If you're 300% stronger than your opponent and he goes into King move, you're right. You can't beat him. Unfortunately, the framework of arm wrestling is not.
Or if you're just stronger in the right place, you'll beat him.
Yeah. Yeah, you've proven that. It's been proven. I'm just saying. The move
not just me. There's lots of guys.
Yeah, Trubin and you.
Lots of guys can do it.
Anthony D'Antonia, yes, it's been proven. It's just unfortunate that they were put in a position to do that.
Well, they're going up against us seriously. Don't discount George. He's been arm wrestling for 50 years, like a psycho. Like, how can you discount that? How can you not say this dude is worthy of his accolades just because he uses a certain style that, old broken people have to use?
This is supposed to be a day of love. Stop fighting and feed your family.
All right, okay. You hear that? I'm on it. 2 minutes. Listen, this is a conversation that will go on for another decade.
He's been ducking world-class arm wrestlers go to the Arnolds where the pin pads are 2 inches long, 2 inches deep.
Dude, Crazy George is crazy.
To close this out, if I pull Rob Vigent, I'm going to have to take it to a new level. How do I initiate the King's move? How do I start training for this? It's my only chance to crack his hand.
You know what? King's move actually is a good choice against RVJ. It actually is. RVJ's gotten to be a much better strap puller than he was a couple of years ago. But a cheetah doesn't change what he is. You never really change too much. Vulnerabilities are a constant throughout your whole career. If you want to start practicing the King's move, just get in a strap. Don't worry so much about keeping your hand high. Think about your thumb, roll, and give away everything at a cost to always rolling.
And don't forget about
drag.
Hip and knee flexibility are important too, because you're really going to have to get down and get down quick.
Dude, you got to drag. You got to get as high as you can, and then just drag and put everything in that roll. And then as soon as the match stops, start climbing. And as soon as he wants to go again, roll and give it up. Roll and give it up.
You're way too high. You should be way lower if you're gonna break down the King's move like that. No, your hand has to be at least 1.5 foot higher than your forehead. Come on, at least get it right. If you're gonna show it to us, get it right. If you're gonna break it down right.
Well, the thing is you don't have that capability because your arm isn't so wonky. The dip-in part only really works for guys who are really impinged. That's where you get that extra real torque from that dip. But anybody can do it. Anybody can do the move. You just won't be able to get benefit from the dip until you're like stupid low because your arm actually does straighten still, right?
Yeah. A monkey could wash my car.
But it'll still work. King's move is still a good move against him. Look, I King's move and I'm not close to the end of my range. Like I'll King's move Matt because it's the right move to do against him. Like, because his hand is dominant, right? So
I give with Rob. Flop wrist press. What's my other options for Rob? Flop wrist press?
I don't know, dude. Can you hook him? Like, he'll probably give you a hook.
I don't know. His hand's pretty nasty.
It is nasty. It is. Dude, yeah, here's the thing that I would always tell anybody to do when they're facing somebody. Don't adjust. Do your move and then take it from there. Like, don't go into it thinking you're going to have to do something else. Like, you may actually be able to dominate it the way you want.
That match goes Herman on the attacking side, RVJ chasing and defending. Whether or not his bicep can defend the side pressure hit of Herman, and Herman in about 6-7 seconds will pin him. That's going to go every match. That's what's going to happen.
I think it goes straps.
WAL, so I feel like I have to do something wonky. Like, it's got to be a move.
Well, the big difference in WAL is just know you got that extra 2 inches off the back.
Oh yeah,
that's the big difference.
And that favors Herman. And that favors Herman in that equation. It favors Herman.
It favors anybody who likes to drag.
Favors Herman. Yeah.
Yeah. My family's leaving. Guys, this has been great. I love you guys. You guys rock.
All right, logging off.
Herman, I'll probably see you at the WAL event. Drellick, good luck with your weigh-in, buddy. You make the best videos. And Gobby, I'll see you in like like two months or something?
Can't wait. Bottom 8, rock and roll. Fucking unreal.
See you, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks so much, boys.
Take care, Dev.
If we'd known, we would have done something else. It's 7 o'clock.
I'm so sorry.
We're out. Later, Herman.
Later, guys.